Hi, my name is ELAINE McGrath. I'm a partner on the corporate team with Ready Charlton. Going to have a look at today at how hard you're actually required to try to achieve endeavours in a contract. So it's not always possible to have an absolute obligation in your contract. Sometimes the best you can ask for is that the other side will try to achieve the objective. Now, how hard they have to try will very much depend on how critical the objective is and what you put in your contract. So in the contracts, it's generally referred to as endeavours and usually qualified by best endeavours, reasonable endeavours, or some variation of those. There has been much debate in case law over the years in trying to determine where the line lies and how hard one must actually try in order to discharge such an obligation. Best endeavours, as the name would suggest, traditionally required that you do everything within your power to achieve the relevant objective. Over time and case law, reasonableness has now been accepted as a qualification to best endeavours. However, it still requires proactive steps to be taken by the person. It requires that you do everything that a reasonable person who wants to achieve the objective would do to achieve it. And this may go as far as to require that you incur financial liability that may be to your commercial detriment in order to achieve it. Reasonable endeavours, on the other hand, as the name would suggest, is a lesser obligation. It doesn't require the same extent of effort as best endeavours. For example, if there were more than one course of action, reasonable endeavours would not require that you try every course of action, but attempting one would be sufficient to discharge the obligation. It would not require, for example, that you would incur a personal financial loss in order to achieve it. Reasonable endeavours can be difficult to enforce, so it is always advisable, if at all possible, to set criteria which would demonstrate that the person has tried sufficiently hard to achieve the objective. All reasonable endeavours then fall somewhere between best endeavours and reasonable endeavours. And again, where the line lies will very much depend on the circumstances. But for example, where there's more than one course of action, for all reasonable endeavours, you may have to attempt more than one, but not every option. So that will again be, if you can at all possibly, put criteria in place that would demonstrate sufficient endeavours have been attempted to achieve the objective. So as we said, it is not always possible to have an absolute obligation, and if all you can do is ask the other side to try, the optimum is obviously to require that they use their best endeavours. However, where you end up in terms of negotiation will very much depend on how critical the clause is to the contract and the negotiating power of the parties. It is always preferable, where possible, to set out criteria that would demonstrate sufficient efforts have been made to achieve the relevant objective. You can find out more information on our website at www.readycharlton.ie. Thank you.